only making one deal, the Dennis deal, and then also sent your letter the three deals as a whole with Dennis, Leopold, and more.
I think we're trying to do it right, and so even if there weren't a lot of deals today, we still have plenty of time, and I'd rather do all the right ones one at a time, than in effect do a deal that we'd be sorry about, longer term. So we still have plenty more chance. We have the draft, we have free agency, we have the summer, and we have training camp. And so I'd rather do it right a little bit at a time than to make a mistake now just for the sake of doing a trade.
I'm sure the talk has been, everybody was expecting a bunch. I mean, that letter kind of primed the pump. Would you do it over again and maybe not send it out, or everything's?
No, we're satisfied with the letter. I think the letter was sent out to in our spirit of accessibility and honesty with our fans, to let them know what we were up to and what our plan was, that we do have a plan. We made it clear in the letter that it wasn't going to happen overnight. We had an extra trade deadline this year because of the pre-Olympic trade deadline. So this is just the second part of multi-steps. As Cliff said, we have the summer, the draft, free agency, and would we have liked to have made more moves today? I think there were a few things that were discussed and some back and forth with some teams, but the deals just didn't make sense. We're not going to do anything stupid. We're going to do it right.
I wanted to ask you guys, I know in your letter you said no small changes or quick fixes will do. At the same time, Randy said today he's not looking to replace 17 players. He only thinks maybe 6, 7, 8. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think of what he said as opposed to what you wrote to the fans about major changes needed?
Well, 6 or 7 players. I mean, that's quite a few when you talk about a team of 20. So, and again, we're working with Randy to develop the strategy. Randy's the guy who's executing the player deals, and we're not getting that involved in who the specific players are and so forth.
There's a lot of talk that maybe, Randy only has the 1-year deal. Is he going to be the guy in the future running this and doing all the work, all the heavy lifting, I guess, if you will?
Well, obviously right now he's our general manager, and we're behind him 100%. And that's the job of the general manager. But as we've said all along, we've said we're going to hold this organization accountable, starting with us first, down to our GM, down to our players and our coaching staff, and we're going to hold them accountable for how they perform.
And I think the point about the letter, to be fair about the letter, the whole point of the letter was to let everybody know that we weren't satisfied and we weren't going to stand still, and we knew we had to do something. Even if we couldn't do it all at once, we wanted everybody to know that we weren't satisfied. I think that was the real point of the letter, rather than, let's say, how quickly we wanted or could act.
It just seems like with the letter, people just expected much, and that kind of, you know what I mean? I mean, if the letter doesn't come out, you made 3 trades before the deadline, people, okay, cool. But it seemed like people were expecting, you guys understand that, right? I mean, as fans, businessmen, the whole.
Well, those expectations, I think over the time, because of the stretched, trade deadline, and from when the letter came out, right around the pre-Olympic deadline to today, with the 2-week build-up, we're in the Olympics and all the hockey excitement. I think a lot of rumors swirled about things, and I was reading the things and all around, and both your guys' blogs and so forth. And of course, we can't respond to those and say if they're true or not. But I think a lot of that rumors swirled, and I think expectations grew that maybe the moves would be bigger, and they just weren't.
So, do you think expectations were too high coming into today? I mean,
I think so. I think we made it clear in our letter that this wasn't going to happen overnight. That it was a multi-step process that would go through the beginning of next year. And again, in order to make big impact things happen today, we would have been the losers in those trades, and we just weren't going to do that.
How would you guys assess Randy's performance so far this year, and when do you plan on making a decision on him and your general manager position going forward?
I think Randy's done a very good job. I mean, we still have to evaluate. He's only been on the job for 5 months. As you know, because guys were in Finland with us when we promoted him to general manager. I mean, the guy stepped in when Jacques left, and really did some, I think really took the bull by the horns and the reins, and proceeded with doing the job of a GM, even though he wasn't the GM. And we gave him that promotion based upon his performance, and he had done at that point. And of course, at that time, Cliff and I weren't really in charge of making those. Other discussions were already in place, and so we were involved in that decision, and we feel very comfortable with it.
When do you look at
Six
making?
small guys, by the way.
What's that?
You guys gotta get that.
Okay, when do you look at making a decision on him as far as whether or not?
I don't think we make any decisions till the season's over.
Okay.
You lose 2 defensemen, but real quick, you still got Vokun. You still got, I know you're in a losing streak right now. Can this team make the playoffs in your mind? I mean, it's 7 points out, but you've still got.
We still got a great core of players and a good team, and I think that's something you got to ask the guys in the locker room. They're the ones who are on the ice making it happen. We feel very comfortable with our coaching staff, and believe that it's up to those guys on the ice to make it happen.
If we get a little lucky and Nathan comes back and maybe plays well, Booth, I think, last night played exceptionally well. And so may have a chance to rejuvenate the offense just a little bit. And we're here tonight to hopefully get 2 points at least, try to get back into it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
the
Thanks,
time.
guys.
Yeah.